Hello everyone. Gianni Infantino is finished. At least that's what you would think if you looked at what's happening with FIFA right now. UEFA is threatening boycotts. Football associations are withdrawing their support. Three major confederations have accused FIFA's leadership of deception. Senior FIFA executives have left. People are already talking about who could replace Infantino in the 2027 election. So surely that's it, right? Infantino is done. Except, probably not. And that's what makes this whole thing interesting. Because only a few weeks before all of this exploded, more than 200 of FIFA's 211 member associations had reportedly endorsed him for another term as president. More than 200. Basically everybody. So how do you go from almost the entire football world standing behind you to UEFA threatening to boycott your competitions in the space of a few weeks? And if some of the most powerful people in football now want Infantino gone, why might they still not be able to get rid of him? To answer that, we have to follow the money. FIFA wanted to create something called FIFA Forward Enterprise, or FFE. The idea was to take the commercial operations behind competitions like the World Cup and Club World Cup, put them into a new company valued at around $20 billion. Then sell roughly 20% of that company to private investors for around $4.2 billion. Now, if somebody offered me $4.2 billion tomorrow, firstly, I'm not logging into Jira ever again. If there's a production issue, I wish everybody involved the absolute best. Secondly, my lifestyle is changing immediately. Forget Dan Bilzerian. That man would look at me and say, "Kwame, relax." There'd be women everywhere. I would have one girlfriend for weekdays and another one for public holidays. Anyway, FIFA's argument was simple. Take the $4.2 billion from investors and pump a huge amount of that money back into football. More development funding, more pitches, more academies, more money for women's football, more infrastructure, more support for member associations. Sounds wonderful, right? So why did everyone get angry? Because private investors don't give you $4.2 billion just because they love football. They want that money to come back with friends. By owning part of this new company, they would effectively own a piece of the commercial machine making money from FIFA competitions. Broadcasting, sponsorship, commercial rights, the World Cup. So part of FIFA's future commercial income would now belong to private investors. And that created the first big question. Who actually agreed to this? Because FIFA is not Gianni Infantino's company. FIFA is made up of 211 national football associations. Ghana gets one vote, England gets one, Brazil gets one, everybody gets one. Infantino is the president, but he does not own FIFA. So if FIFA is thinking about selling part of one of the most valuable commercial businesses in sport, you would assume the people who technically make up FIFA would be deeply involved from the start. Apparently, many of them felt they were not. UEFA, CONCACAF, and the AFC leadership said the proposal had been pushed forward without proper consultation, and later accused FIFA's leadership of deception and a fundamental breach of trust. And this is where my QA brain understands their anger perfectly, because nothing makes me happier than somebody designing an entire feature, developing it, deciding how everything should work, and then sending it to QA 2 hours before release. Kwame, can you quickly test this? Quickly test what? You have redesigned the entire reconciliation flow. Nobody wrote acceptance criteria. The API has 17 new fields. There is one called Final Status New 2. And somehow I am now the difficult person because I asked what happens when an invoice comes in and there's no receipt. That is basically FIFA's problem. You cannot build something this massive and then treat consultation like final UAT before production. And apparently people inside FIFA thought the same thing. FIFA's chief operating officer, Kevin Lamore, publicly opposed the project and later left. Another Infantino advisor, Carlos Cordero, also left after opposing the investment strategy. Then, UEFA went even further and threatened to boycott FIFA competitions if the proposal continued. Eventually, FIFA backed down. Deal dead. No sale. No $4.2 billion. FIFA apologized. So, problem solved, right? Again, no. Because now we have another question. If FIFA canceled the deal, why is everyone still angry? Imagine I borrow your car without asking, drive it halfway across Ghana, call someone to ask how much they would pay for it. then return it the next morning and say, "Relax, I didn't sell it." Thank you, I suppose, but why were you trying to sell it in the first place? Did I tell you to sell it? Why was I not consulted? That is where the associations are now. The deal disappeared, the trust problem did not. And suddenly some of the same associations that had endorsed Infantino only weeks earlier started withdrawing their support. England, Wales, the Republic of Ireland, others followed. UEFA is firmly against him. CONCACAF's leadership is against him. The AFC leadership joined the criticism. Victor Montagliani, the CONCACAF president, is now being discussed as somebody who could potentially challenge Infantino in the 2027 FIFA election. If all these people are turning against him, why is Infantino not finished? Because Gianni Infantino has something that angry press releases do not automatically destroy: relationships. And a lot of those relationships are built around money. Under Infantino, FIFA has massively increased the amount of money distributed around world football. Smaller associations receive funding for pitches, national teams, academies, women's football, and infrastructure. And remember how FIFA elections work. England gets one vote, Ghana gets one vote, Brazil gets one vote. A tiny island association with fewer people than some Premier League stadiums also gets one vote. So becoming FIFA president is not about keeping 5 powerful European countries happy. You need everybody. Africa matters, Asia matters, Oceania matters, the Caribbean matters. Every vote counts the same. And Infantino has spent years building those relationships. Now, to be clear, FIFA giving smaller associations development money is literally FIFA doing its job. That does not automatically mean anyone's vote is being bought, but money affects relationships. We all know this. Imagine everybody at work spends the whole year saying management is useless. Nobody listens to us. I'm leaving this company. Then an email arrives with the subject, annual performance bonus. Suddenly, we are all very interested in supporting management's long-term strategic vision. The revolution can continue after payroll. Money has a strange calming effect. Same with relationships. My imaginary girlfriend can spend all month telling me I am irresponsible, difficult, and apparently incapable of emotional maturity. Let $4.2 billion enter my account, and suddenly the conversation changes very quickly. Funny how money can improve your personality without you changing a single thing. Anyway, that is why UEFA saying Infantino has to go does not mean every national association will vote against him. Confederations can take a position, individual associations still have their own votes. Infantino still has significant support across Africa, parts of South America, Oceania, Asia, and the Middle East. A $4.2 billion private investment proposal exploded. Senior people left FIFA. Confederations revolted, and Infantino ended up facing the biggest crisis of his presidency. But more than 200 associations reportedly backed him before this mess started. And those associations did not suddenly disappear. So the real question is who actually changes their vote? Who is Ghana voting for? Who is Nigeria voting for? Who is Japan voting for? Who is Brazil voting for? Who is Saudi Arabia voting for? UEFA can release the angriest statement in human history. If they don't have enough votes, Gianni Infantino remains FIFA president. And that is what makes the next few months so interesting. Because Infantino's opponents now have a completely different problem. It is easy to agree that you do not like somebody. It is much harder to agree on who replaces them. Victor Montagliani has been mentioned as a possible challenger, but somebody still has to build a coalition of more than 100 national associations and convince them that replacing Infantino is better for them than keeping the man they already know. And that takes us back to the money again. Infantino's defense does not have to be, please forget the $4.2 billion disaster. He can simply point at what FIFA has done under him. FIFA makes more money now. The World Cup is bigger. The Club World Cup is bigger. Member associations are getting more money. Infrastructure has been funded all over the world. So if his opponents have to convince those same associations that the way FIFA is being run is a bigger problem than the benefits they have received from it. And that is why FIFA canceling the deal did not end the crisis. The deal is dead, but everybody now knows it got far enough to become a serious proposal in the first place. So what the hell's going on with FIFA? Gianni Infantino tried to create a new commercial company around FIFA's biggest competitions and sell roughly 20% of it to private investors for around $4.2 billion. The people who technically make up FIFA said they were not properly consulted. The deal collapsed. Senior FIFA figures left. Major confederations turned against Infantino. Associations started withdrawing their support. And what began as an argument about $4.2 billion turned into an argument about whether Infantino has accumulated too much power inside FIFA. So Gianni Infantino is finished. Except he isn't. Not yet. Because the same FIFA system that created this mess may also be the reason he survives it. In 2027, 211 associations get one vote each. And ultimately, we are going to find out whether enough of them are angry enough to actually replace him. That's it. That's all I have. Bye-bye.